I couldn't resist doing a second video on the gorgeous morel mushroom season that we had up in the Yukon this past summer. We learned a variety of harvesting tips, preservation techniques, and recipes. Check out my first video for info on finding and harvesting morels. After the first video, I went out picking about 4 more times over the summer. Along the way, I tried some new and more efficient preservation techniques. Thanks for coming along. All right, well, I couldn't resist, so we went back and we got some more morels, and they were popping up like you wouldn't believe, and lots of different color variations this time, and all really great sizes. We are going to try a new technique. Instead of drying them, we are going to freeze them. Apparently this helps them keep their texture intact, so they are more like when they are fresh. So we're just gonna dip this into cold water and swish it around. Try to get all the dirt off, give it a good shake to get any excess water off of. And then just lay it on the paper towel so that it can dry off a bit. Okay, yeah, I think they, it's just like little pieces of grit and stuff. Here, let's try this one. You may recall in our last video that we didn't wash the mushrooms. We just sort of tapped and brushed them. We were kind of worried that the water might affect the quality of the mushroom. It didn't seem to make much of a difference. Okay, that was taking way too long, so we ended up just dumping them all into a bin and adding really cold water, swishing them all around, and then taking them out, shaking them out, laying them on some towels, and then putting them on sheets, baking sheets lined with parchment paper, where we froze them in a single layer. Later on, we packaged them up into Ziplocs, and they're good to go. Okay, we're back in business. What'd you do, Marsh?
So I filled up the bucket with water from the lake and I rinsed it around a little bit, drained them. We found out morels float. And now we added some salt. We let it sit for like a minute, rinsed it around. Now we're just gonna lay them out. Try a drying Mother Nature style.
Yeah, it's a nice night out here, so we're gonna get them set out on here, and hopefully the sun will start to dry them out a little bit.
We raised the, gave some aeration.
Are you hunting morels, puppy?
Yep. Yep, I am.
Oh yeah, look at all these. Oh my gosh, look at these. Melina, come put your hand by this for scale. Holy smokes. Look at that monster. I'm talking about the mushroom, not the kid. Look at the camera, Mally. All right, so these are some 4-liter ice cream pails that we filled up in just a matter of minutes because some of these are massive. I'll just take this one out to show you. Oh. Well, that's probably the biggest one we've seen, and it's about the size of my hand. And these are good. They're all very brown in this patch, but they're really nice and fresh looking. We're gonna dump these in the laundry basket and head back out. Mama! Deception. We got back and we just wanted to check some of these, and it turns out most of them have larvae in them. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So
there's a little orange
you can see there's a little white larvae in there. Yeah, there's some other little white bug or yellow bugs. This one actually doesn't seem as bad. And if you break it open, there's more down here. So I don't think these are gonna do. So we're in the mushroom patch, and I saw my dog sniffing something, and there's these 4 little baby birds just waiting for their mama, crouched together. He just had a sniff. He didn't bother them. Marsha, look. I think they're so new they can't open their eyes. You can just see their little beaks. But when I made a little noise, they all started opening their mouth. Aww. Look at their little wings. They're so cute. As far as recipes go, you can use them anywhere you'd use other mushrooms. However, they have such a wonderfully woodsy flavor that it would be preferable to use them in simple dishes that can really showcase their flavor. There's a reason that morels are one of the most coveted mushrooms out there. I wanted to take a minute and talk about preservation techniques. So in the last video, you'll know that we brushed and tapped off the dirt and debris and then dehydrated them. Now, the problem with that is that it was extremely time consuming. So in this video, you saw us rinsing them in cold water, laying them out on trays, and then freezing them. That was my personal favorite. We also rinsed in salt water and dehydrated. And then our last technique was just simply dehydrating them and then shaking off the dirt and debris afterwards. I think what it really comes down to is personal preference. Although I think that dried morels will have a much longer shelf life than frozen. But frozen are great for immediate consumption and also to have that great texture. I think that brings us to our final consideration. Is rinsing really necessary? And that, in my opinion, comes down to whether you're freezing or drying them. If you're freezing them, yes, I think it is, because then it'll be washed and ready to go. If you're drying them, you're going to put them in water and essentially rinse them off as they're rehydrating. So if you're drying them, I don't think it's totally necessary. As far as salt water or fresh water, I think salt water could definitely help encourage some of the little critters that might be in your mushroom to vacate the premises. However, drying will also do that. So it's really up to you. I didn't notice a considerable difference. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey with us, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
One take Tara.